Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorials brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Elements Tutorials Group, and let's jump right in. Today's poster wanted to put this picture of a Marine family on top of this picture of a Marine Corps base camp Lejeune. So the first thing we wanted to do was I fixed this photo. It had a car hood in the shot here, and I just stretched the asphalt to make it fill out the whole frame. Next we want to do is cut out this picture. So let's cut them out to be able to place it on top of this picture. So we can try the magic tool, but the problem is that there's so much white that's mixing in with the background and the shoulders and the hats and stuff like that, that you're really going to be able to capture more than what you need. You see, this does not look natural there. It's cutting part of her head off. Her shirt's being cut off. So I'm going to opt once again to do it the old school way with an eraser. So I'll grab my eraser, carefully erase them all out from scratch, starting from down here. And once we finish with the eraser, all we have to do is grab the polygon tool, and we're going to lasso around the whole edge that we just made with the eraser to be able to cut them out. Once you get to the end, you double click. I'm going to zoom out, and all you got to do is select inverse, which will select everything else but our picture, and hit delete. Boom, and there we go. And boom, there we go. Everything's all gone but the picture. Now let's go ahead and drag that picture up into the other picture, and we just let it go, and basically there we have it. The next few things we want to do is 1, size it, 2, make the lighting the same, 3, make the color the same, and finally 4, add shadows that would be appropriate and accurate depending on the background. So I'm going to pull out a little bit here, and let's first of all size them. And they could be, depends on the perspective of the camera, they could be right in front of us like this. That would work too. But in our case, let's go ahead and have them, I don't know, like right around here. How about that? Now what I'm noticing is that she's standing forward here. You can see her feet are forward, so her perspective is off from them. So let's go ahead and cut her out, which I did before, and bring her back into where she's supposed to be, into proper perspective. Now we can just turn a little bit like this so that we got the vertical going proper, and I think we got it set here. Merge those back together, and we're looking pretty good. Now we want to fix the foreground to match the background. The background has a lot more contrast than the foreground. So we're going to take that foreground, go to Enhance, Lighting, Brightness, and bring that contrast up a little bit, and bring the brightness down so it looks more like it's like they're really standing there. Because the sunlight is really from almost behind them, so we don't want them so bright to where it looks fake. Next, let's do some color correction on them because the background is much warmer than they are. They're very blue. So let's go ahead and go to Enhance and go to Color and adjust for skin tone. And we're going to take this little eyedropper and drop it on one of their skins right around here. And you can see it immediately made it a little more greens in the reds. Now I can take this temperature and change it a little bit. So I'm going to bring it back a little bit so we can like split the difference. Before, after, before, after. That's looking a lot better. Hit OK. And finally, we want to add some shadows. So I'm going to go down here, add a new layer, and grab a brush. Let's make the brush pure black. And we're going to do several sets of shadows, starting with a small one at about 50 point or so. You want to do really, really small, just a little dab in there, a little dab in here, and a dab in here. I'm going to grab the smudge brush and make that a small brush about 50 point, and I can kind of play around with this I'm going to zoom in. This is going to be their immediate dark shadow. And that's the first immediate shadow. Now we're going to take the opacity, and you can see as I bring it in and out what it does. And we like that. Now let's add another layer. This is going to be a broader shadow. So we grab that brush again, and this time we'll make a big, like 150 point brush. We'll just do a little blob here, do a blob there, and blob there and there. All we got to do is take the opacity and bring it down almost all the way, and then bring it back up just a tad. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if you really want, I can try one more layer. This one's going to be almost non-negligible. So we're just going to grab a big 250 point brush. I'm going to bring this down all the way and just go just a tiny bit like that. I mean, literally about 18%. I'll toggle that on and off, and there we go. That's it for this tutorial. This is Rich calling it quits, saying over and out.